Bella, and this is FlashCast by PDB, and today I have a special guest, Max Hobson. Max, welcome.
Thank you, Philip. Thanks for letting me on the show.
Mate, it's a pleasure, and it's a quick 10 minutes, quick fire, and the purpose of this is all about the youth. And simply put, a lot of people complain about young people today. You're one of the few young people I've seen that is really making magic happen, and I'd love to extrapolate what goes on in your head so that we can hopefully inspire many others and parents that are listening to this to get their kids to listen to this, because I've got in front of me one of the most talented 20-year-olds I've seen in a long, long time that is so motivated and inspiring and is willing to learn and wants to learn from people but also share his knowledge. So let's kick it off, Max. What makes you so motivated as a young person?
Well, I think taking up competitive cycling as a youngster, still am a youngster, but like about 12 or 13, I think it really taught me about hard work, and that to get, the reward that you want, you really have to work hard for it. So that's translated across to business. Another reason why I'm so passionate is I think it's really like a fast-paced world at the moment. There's new technologies, Web3 and all the stuff coming up, and I don't want to be left behind. So it's my, goal to be on top of these things and constantly searching for new technologies, new businesses, new ways that I can adapt this in my life.
Yeah, and who's influenced you to think like that? Because that's some pretty cool stuff for a 20-year-old to be thinking, and especially the part about not being left behind. So who's been a major influence for you?
Well, first off, probably my dad, because he's been in business for quite a while, and he sort of got me down this route, starting business in school, which I don't think really helps me much, but it was... the first is like the eye opener. And then going onto YouTube, I just look at the most high performance people I could find. So Gary V, I would say. Yeah. I know he's a big one, but that's probably the number one person who I've looked at. I consume his content almost daily, probably more than one time, twice a day probably. I'd be listening to his podcasts. So learning off him. He's got a big wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, he does some great stuff, especially with young people, which is awesome. Yep. Tell me, what advice do you have to some people that are not motivated around your age group?
Well, I think that there's this fallacy that you get motivation from other people. I don't 100% agree with that. It can help you to get up in the morning or to go out for a bike ride or to go exercise, but long term, you need to find it from within. So it'd be like finding your passion, finding what you love to do and being able to monetize that or help people or provide some value. That's what helped motivate me. But yeah, I just feel like there's this, misconception that you can sort of just get it from other people, or you find it on YouTube and watch a 10-minute video and you're motivated. Yeah. That motivation lasts for about 20 minutes or so, in my personal experience.
Yeah, there's a lot of 2-minute noodles out there, right? They want it all. So tell me, what would you say? What would your advice be to somebody who says, I want it all, I want it now? From somebody coming at 20-year-old, because I could answer that in a certain way and be quite blunt. But from, 20, you're a lot closer to the age group of teenagers that are going to listen to you and be inspired by you. What's your message to them when people, when they think I can have it all and I can have it now?
Yeah, well, I know I'm still young, but patience probably. I've been working towards this, where I am now for maybe 5 years or so behind the scenes, just researching, learning, just not being so focused on the money and just more focused on learning and picking up cues from really successful people, building a personal brand. Focus on those things rather than the money and rather than having it now, because while there are people who do get it really quickly, usually the people who are overnight successes have actually been working for 10, 15 years to get there.
Yeah, tell me. So let's tell the listeners, what do you actually do now? What is your business right now?
Right now, at this current time, it would be Bike Pack Shop. So we're cycling media and products, moving more towards the media. But yeah, we're creating really cool videos for people in the cycling industry to watch. I'm working on a new startup, which is in the real estate space, called Suburb 360, which will be out probably by the time this podcast is out. So you can go to my LinkedIn to look at that, but it's a social media platform for real estate agents.
Fantastic. And of course, we'll put that link up on the summary of the FlashCast so people can go to it. Tell me, what impact do you want to make in the world?
Everyone says a positive impact, and I think that's really important, but also showing people that you can stand by your beliefs and you shouldn't just mold and fit into society like everyone else does. You can be successful and have your own opinions, have your own beliefs, and stay true to that.
And tell me, we mentioned it before about brand. When people say Max Hobson, what do you want them to say about your personal brand?
Oh, that's a good one. I think honesty and trustworthiness is probably number one. Hardworking and someone that would be happy to take someone under their belt if they needed help. So being able to help and push people to be the best that they can be as well.
Yeah,
which I know is important to you as well.
Totally. And as I say, brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, right?
Yeah.
And it's
100%.
important for people to understand that brand is all about when you've left the room, what do people have to say? So for the young listeners listening, it's not what you say about yourself. It's not how you talk yourself up. It's not how you present yourself on social media, when most people are only producing, they're only showing the top of the iceberg. They don't show what's under the iceberg. Brand is what other people say about you when you've left the room.
Yeah.
Tell me, Max, what are your passions?
My passion. So cycling would be my number one passion. I'm actually racing in Japan later on this year, which is really exciting. So mixing that with business is, quite hard. But so cycling, anything exercise and outdoors. So camping, hiking, that sort of stuff. I have a really big passion for that. Starting businesses as well, which I think I've only really sort of fell in love with over the last few years, but actually just thinking like, oh, this is a cool idea. Let's just see if this works in the market. Starting businesses, that would probably be another passion of mine.
Yeah. And what's your number one tip to take an idea into from an idea into action as a young person?
Like, it's like that book, I think it's called Ready, Fire, Aim. It's like, just go out there, see if people like it. Don't be super fussed about what your bio is going to be, what your logo looks like. You don't need to spend like thousands of dollars making them straight away. Get a social media account, get your domain name, put it out there, just make something, follow a bunch of people, give a lot of free value. And if you see people like jumping on and if you see people jumping on, it's just like, obviously you've got something there.
Tell me, worst case scenario. Do you ever sit now and think, what is my worst case scenario?
My worst case scenario will be that I'll have to use my uni degree that I'm studying. So
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are the opportunities out there that you see in the future for a young person?
For a young person, I'm really bullish on personal branding, obviously, as we've been talking about. So building up your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Facebook, YouTube, everything, TikTok, just pumping out lots of content. You can probably see the Gary V in me coming out now, but just putting out lots of content, getting the world to know who you are, networking with, successful people. That's a big one for me. And if you're looking for business, I think focusing on learning rather than making money at my age, because, you've got a lot of time from being a 20-year-old. But if you were to go into business, I would say anything technology or whatever lies with your passion. Because if you're not into technology, then it's probably not a good space to be in. But for me, it would be like anything Web3, NFTs or blockchain. That would be where I'm looking in the next 5 or so years.
No, that's cool. Tell me, what's the common issue you see with people in their teens today?
People in their teens probably being in like a bad routine or not knowing what they want to do, or also believing that the world is put against them. So it's like you've got to go out there and make your own reality. You can't rely on the government and other people to help you through. You've got to, come from within you.
Take action.
Yeah, take action.
Well, listeners, you can see why, I've got Max on the show and some great wise words, and please share it with, young kids. I'll be sharing it with my 14-year-old daughter and 12-year-old boy, but make sure that we're sharing this because it is good for them to hear from somebody who's in his 20s, who's talking the way that he is. And I finish on this question for you, Max. If there's one piece of advice for somebody that's in their teens and is not motivated, what would it be?
I think, honestly, go out and exercise, go outside and just let your mind wander. So going for a hike, going for a swim, going out by yourself.
Yeah, great. Get off that technology, right?
Yeah. Stop scrolling through Instagram Reels.
Yeah, love it. Guys, you've been listening to Max Hobson and I'm Phil DeBella. Until next time, this has been FlashCast by PDB.